Okay, go ahead, Luke.
Welcome back to the Viking Voice podcast. I am your host, Carson Carroll, here with Braden and Carson.
Hello.
And our guest today, Kyle Christensen.
Hey.
And our topic today is how do addictions affect high schoolers or just teens in general? And Braden, if you could get us started with this, that'd be nice.
Yeah, let's jump right into it. I think the first topic we should discuss is what justifies an unhealthy and a healthy addiction. You know, what are some addictions that, you know, could be beneficial or could be just terrible, you know what I mean? So, I mean, there's the fairly obvious ones for the unhealthy side, but let's jump into more of the healthy side right now and focus on that.
There are definitely healthy addictions. I'd say, like, there are some people that are addicted to, like, exercising, or they're addicted to, like, eating healthy. Like, if they eat something that's, like, unhealthy, like Doritos, they actually, like, want to gag, like, throw up. And so they're addicted to, you know, eating just, like, good food. That's, like, a healthy addiction. Other things, like, maybe an addiction to tea. I don't know. People are, because tea has, like, a lot of benefits.
I think one really popular one that people, like, so my dad, for example, he cannot run without coffee. He needs coffee. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know if it's healthy. I mean, caffeine does have some side effects, but I think it's healthier than most things.
Coffee has some benefits, yeah, as long as you don't add too much creamer to it, yeah.
But I mean, it does kind of tank your bank account at the end of the day.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think I mean, you can jump to the unhealthy side. There's plenty of unhealthy addictions. I mean, there's the junk food. I mean, there's the more obvious. You know, there's drugs. There's substances. There's alcohol. I mean, you name it. I mean, everyone knows those. Let me ask you guys this. Is there any that you've noticed as far as high schoolers that you've noticed that have been healthy as far as the schooling side goes?
Like for school?
Yeah.
Probably reading, I would say. Yeah. I mean, no one really reads anymore, but I think it's a healthy addiction, you know.
So you're asking what are, like, healthy academic addictions?
I guess you could put it that way, or just in general. I mean, what are some addictions that kids have? I mean, you said it, like exercising a lot. There's a lot of, I mean, the gyms have became a fad. I would say that. It's became way more trendy. I mean, if you look at 3 years ago during COVID, I mean, people were not at the gyms. So like,
yeah, they were closed down a lot too, yeah.
I mean, yeah, but I think it's become way, like, more popular now. So I think that's become more of an addiction with high schoolers. Just
I like how, like, every podcast we, like, somehow deviate to the gym.
I feel like we do that a lot.
But okay, so a good, like, academic addiction, I say just a certain topic, like for example, let's say, like, if someone likes like math, right? They love doing math, right? They want to do it all the time. They can use that, you know, addiction, I guess you could say, and they could put it into learning, like a high school class or college, and they'd love it. You know, they'd love math. They'd love, you know, doing calculus and things like that. They could go on to be like a mathematician in the future or some type of college professor. That could be an example of healthy. You could do the same thing with any subject field, like astronomy, biology, astrophysics, you know, things like that. Just being addicted to those fields.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think that you can apply it to a lot of things in high school. Now, I think that, I mean, all of us, we're all seniors. We've all been in high school for 4 years. I mean, our freshman year, we were kind of in high school. But what are some obvious addictions that you've seen that are more on the unhealthy side, you know? And we don't really mean to, I mean, people know now it's become a thing that vapes and, you know, smoking in the bathrooms, whatever it is. I mean, people know about those, but I mean, let's dive in a little more.
Okay. So, yeah, we could say the obvious things like vapes, you know, something like that. But I think a very, like, big addiction among, especially guys, okay, that people don't talk about a lot, is the addiction to always be in a relationship with a girl. That is, I think, a very okay.
That's an interesting one, though.
Because it like things about like that, it causes people to not be able to be alone. Right? Okay. They always are craving being with someone, even if it's like an unhealthy relationship they're going into. They want to be with someone. That's interesting. That's 100% a lot of dudes nowadays, and it also can just lead to other things like, probably not school appropriate things, but like things that can like mess you up in life. I feel like we know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's definitely like a big addiction I've noticed among dudes.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle, do you have anything to add on that? I mean, I
would say like, yeah, I agree with Carson on that. Like I see a lot of like even like my friend, he always like wants to be with someone like at all times. He always wants to find a girl.
Dang, you're throwing him under the bus, and he knows exactly who he is too.
Oh yeah, he does.
That's funny.
But yeah, he definitely like wants to be with someone, and like that's all he cares about. It seems like. So I think that's very unhealthy to like only care about wanting to be in a relationship at all times. That's probably not.
I think that's just like, I think addictions become habits. I think you can put those two things in the same boat. They may not benefit you, but I think addictions lead to habits, and I think addictions can lead to great habits, such as, I mean, you can go from vaping every day, all the time, people are so down bad that they have to do it during school, bro. Like you can't last 8 hours without going to the bathroom and hitting your vape.
It's not even 8, it's 6 hours. Yeah, that's
I mean, even what it is, I don't even know what it is. But like, bro, it's ridiculous. But then that can lead to like way more healthy things. That can lead to people, instead of going to hit their vape, they have to counter it with something good to stop. You know what I mean? So like a lot of people find healthy habits out of bad things, if that makes sense. And I mean healthy addictions and habits out of bad addictions and bad habits. So like I know a lot of people who were addicted to cigarettes, and they would eat, like they would chew gum instead of smoking cigarettes. Like, you know what I mean? There's counters.
Like
there's
gum.
Counters, not even nicotine gum.
Oh,
like they would just chew gum.
Oh.
And there's these counters to all these bad things that I see people do. There's some people who what's another one? I mean, they did drugs. They go to the gym. They work out. There's like this rush of, I don't know, what would you even say, like dopamine? Is that like the right term?
Yeah, dopamine.
Yeah.
Like, people get that rush from the gym, and then they crave it more instead of craving the drug. So there's these counters to all this stuff that I think, they can lead to people becoming whole again and becoming themselves again. But I think we should jump into the other topic here and kind of look more at what are the effects that we've all noticed in the youth, such as middle schoolers to like, I would say like freshmen and sophomores in college, and what are some that you guys have noticed, like as far as the youth?
Homelessness, 100%. Like especially things like fent. People will spend like as much money as they want on any type of drug, really, and then 1, they'll spend all their money. 2, they'll be messed up from it, and then 3, they're not going to want anything else, right? And then no one's going to hire them because they're all messed up, and then they get thrown out their parents' house and they're just homeless.
And you know what really drives me crazy, and I see this a lot on TikTok, man, and Instagram Reels. People find it funny to make these jokes about like I see a lot of like frat boys posting on TikTok saying like, "Oh, dude, we just pop Adderall before our classes because we're cool." Like, nah, dude, you look like an idiot.
Adderall.
Yeah, like to stay awake. Like it wires them, or like they take like. I mean, I even seen like people taking like coke and stuff. Like it's unreal, and it's social media has like, it's so crazy the turn it took in the last few years that I've noticed, especially as you get older too. You jump into like more different like topics on like social media. It's insane, like what they're posting, thinking these things. People like are promoting like Zins, like that is a huge thing. That is one of the biggest things I've noticed too.
I don't know where people got the idea that like addictions like that, like being a druggie or like getting blackout drunk and waking up with a hangover is like cool. I don't know how something like that started, because it's like people will like post in their story like, just woke up with a hangover, feel like, and it's like, yeah, we can't swear on here. Yeah. But and then it's like, really, you're bragging about drinking and then waking up, like, and like that's just such like a
it's
loser
become
thing.
A trend, dude. It's unreal. Like, especially the Zins. I'm gonna go back to that because that's one of the main things I see on TikTok and Instagram. It's like, I mean,
what's a Zin, by the way? I don't know what that
it's like
nicotine
pouch.
Oh yeah, okay.
I mean it's better on your lungs, but like you're still it's a money pit, dude. It's all it is. And these I feel like some of these influencers are paid to promote them. Like, they get paid by Zyn to, like, be promoters for them. Oh, it's better than vaping, man. It's better than, it's better on your lungs. I mean, it's still terrible for you.
Yeah, nicotine as a whole is just an L. Like, if you take any type of nicotine, like...
Yeah. And there's going to be a bunch
sucks.
of people, like, defending Zyns, which I know someone who used to smoke and vape, and then they went to tobacco-less pouches, tobacco-free pouches, and it honestly helped them so much get off of nicotine and stop smoking and stop vaping, because you can do what they call milligram levels. So what he did was he started at the highest milligram, and then he went lower and lower and lower until there was nothing, and then he jumped to, like, caffeine pouches. So it's crazy because I feel like those caffeine pouches are, like, targeting people to, like, start with these and then go to, because Zyns are cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what their kind of message is. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
And another, like, addiction that a lot of people probably undermine is, I think, like, weed. Because weed, honestly, like, granted, it's not as bad as the rest of things. Like, there's not really any big negative side effects. But some things it does do for a lot of, like, youth, like, people that are young, is it just makes them, like, super lazy. That's one thing.
I agree.
And then also, I just, like, they say it helps them, like, relax after being stressed out. It's like, if you're a teenager and you really got, like, that much stress, like, because most teenagers, compared to, like, the adult life, they don't have, like, they're going to have more stress when they're an adult than when they're a teenager, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're, like, a teenager and you already need, like, to smoke something to, like, relax you off because, like, your life is, like, so hard, it's like, that's just, that's an L, bro. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna share a fact. Kyle, do you have anything to add on that?
And also, like, sorry, yeah.
I was gonna say, like, the money thing is the biggest thing to me.
Yeah.
People are spending all their money on that, and it's just, I mean, like, I feel like I've seen high schoolers get jobs just to support the addiction, which I think is crazy.
Yeah.
That's
It's
insane.
like, and also, if you smoke weed, it's like, you're going to be worse. Like, it's just like 100% you're going to be worse at your job. Because you're probably going to smoke it at some point before you have a shift. You go in and you're like super lazy. And then maybe, like, a lot of full-time jobs make you do drug tests. And then if you get caught, you're fired. So it's like, it's just not worth it.
Yeah,
I'm going to
definitely
share a couple facts. This is the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention. It's a government website, so that's how you know it's official, Mr. Benjamin. So it says, young people who persistently abuse substances often experience an array of problems, including academic difficulties, health-related problems, including mental health, poor peer relationships, and involvement with the juvenile justice system. Additionally, there are consequences for family members, the community, and the entire society. That's where we jump back to the entire society thing, man. It's like they think it's so cool, and they like these middle schoolers who have phones at 13 and are looking at TikTok, seeing people pop Zins.
Yeah,
dude, that's like if my kid was looking at that, like, it's ridiculous.
Personally, my kid is not going to get a phone until high school. He's gonna have a flip phone until then.
That's something that's a different. That's a whole different thing. But
we're not gonna talk about.
That's a podcast idea, Carson. That's a podcast.
We already made a podcast on it.
But yeah, no. It's. I think we should talk about maybe the physical health too. I mean, it says on here that injuries due to car accidents, that you go back to the weed thing, or alcohol abuse. People.
That's right. Yeah, if you drive under the influence,
yeah,
that's also that'll ruin your life if you get
like
arrested or if you crash.
Yeah. And then the Drug Abuse Warning Network, in a representative sample of hospitals throughout the United States, report trends in people seeking emergency department treatment related to illegal drug use or non-medical use of legal drugs. Wow. From 1993 to 1994, I mean, this was a long time ago. I'm sure this number has jumped significantly. Youth ages 12 to 17 increased by 17% in 1993 and 1994. Could you imagine what that's at now?
Oh, yeah. It's
now that it's a trend.
Especially with social media going around and all these people being influenced to do it.
Yeah.
Personally, I think that this is a lot, like, kids having addiction is a lot of, like, the parents' fault at, like, when it comes to not raising them right.
Holy crap.
Because
sorry to interrupt, but I read a little further on here. Wow. 91 youth. So that's ages 12 to 17, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're not even 18 yet.
Yeah.
91 died between 93 and 94. That's not a lot if you compare it to now.
Yeah.
Not even close to the numbers now.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's insane. Do you guys want to... You guys can talk about that.
But I definitely think it is a parenting issue that when it comes to like kids getting addicted to things, because they like, first of all, they could either just like not really like give it like pay attention to their kids, and then that way, like if they send them to school, right? This is my problem with public schools. That if if your kids start hanging out with the wrong people, it's like a gamble whether they'll actually like turn out good. Yeah. That's why I like homeschool a lot and like online school, because they're less influence. And also another thing with like phones is that if you give a kid a phone with no like unrestricted access, you're also just gambling on how they're going to be raised.
I got a little more curious on this. This is the National Institute of Drug Abuse said this fact. Mm-hmm. They said the percentages of adolescents reporting they used an illicit, I don't even know what that word means, substances in 2023 continued to hold steady below the pre-pandemic levels. So that was 2020. Mm-hmm. After 2020, 10.9% of 8th graders are using illegal substances. 19.8% of 10th graders have used or are using illegal substances, addictions, same thing. And 31.2% of 12th graders reported using an illicit drug in the past year.
Our generation is just a bunch of losers.
That is ridiculous, dude.
That's wild.
When you dive deeper, man, it's insane.
Yeah, but coming back to that, as I was saying, I definitely think it's a parenting issue, because the parents are the ones that allow their kid to be put into these environments, right? And I just think parents need to do like a better job at actually parenting.
Yeah, I think, and I don't think it there's a lot of, it's crazy that you say that though. I'm going to counter that because there's a lot of parents that don't know, because it's so easy to hide now. Mm-hmm. You have the pouches. I mean, it's in their mouth. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can't really see it. And vapes, I mean, people can hide them in their socks in their sock drawer, or, hide them in their shoes in their closet. Like, they're so easy to hide, rather than back in the 90s when it was just cigarettes. I mean, you could smell it. They're not easy to hide. It's not easy to hide the smell. Mm-hmm. I mean, so I think it's a huge cocktail of bad parenting. Even if there isn't bad parenting, I mean, that's still a big part of it. There's the trend of everything that's going around nowadays, that it's cool to do this stuff. Yeah. And then there's just the social aspect of it. I'm going to do this to be cool. What's crazy is, like, it's so normal now that I feel that, like, people who, like, I don't know how to word this, like, people who almost have never done it before, people are shocked at that. Mm-hmm. Like, you ask someone, like, they're outnumbered. Like, it's like they're outnumbered now. Yeah, completely outnumbered. So, yeah, I think that's about gonna wrap it up. I think, is there any final things you guys want to add? I mean, based off these facts that we've read.
One thing I was going to say was, like, add on to what Carson said about the parents. It's also, like, I think it's also more kids raising kids, like other kids telling other kids what to do, and they just believe it and take it as what they think.
That's what I was saying. Like, I don't think it's the fact, like, my point wasn't, like, the fact about, like, the kids being able to hide it from their parents. It's just the parents are the ones that put their kids in the environments where they learn about it. They give them the phone with TikTok, who sees all the trends. Exactly. They send them to public school.
Sorry, I didn't know that was your point.
Oh, yeah, no, it's like parents can just, if parents could just do a better job at, like, raising their kids and teaching them, like, right, and not allowing them to be put into these environments, then I think that would solve a lot of the problem.
Yeah, and I think, it's sad. I mean, we're seniors, we're done after this year, but it's sad to see the decline, of a lot of kids in our grade, especially kids that we've all known since we were in 4th grade. I mean, that's for me because I moved here in 4th grade, but, like, a lot of kids that we've known for over 10 years, I mean, just have fell into this trap, of, like, the social aspect of everything and just the addiction in itself. I mean, to get back to the main point, unhealthy versus healthy addictions, unhealthy overrules a lot of it, and it's so sad. It really is.
And now that I was thinking about it, I actually came with another addiction that is very common in young people. It's the addiction for attention. People, like, they crave attention, and then that leads to other addictions, right? Like, kids want to be cool. They want that validity. They want people to notice them. And what do they see other kids do that are getting that attention? They're vaping, they're smoking, they're taking nicotine. They're doing all these, like, bad habits, and then they see this, and they're like, I want that attention. I want to be one of the cool kids. And then they just start doing that. Yeah. Because that's what they see. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah.
It's a chain. It's a really, all it is just a chain of events. Mm-hmm. It starts off with, okay, let's try it once. All these people, let's try it once. Then it goes twice. Then it goes 5 times, 10. And then you're addicted. Mm-hmm. It's that quick. It really is scary. I'm scared for my kids when they go through high school. And that's so sad to say. It's crazy. I mean, the school, let's talk about the final point I'm going to make here before we end is schools had to add vape detectors in the bathroom.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's how bad it is.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Just I told my dad that, and he just shook his head. But back then, in the 80s when my dad was a teenager, kids were smoking in the parking lot. Mm-hmm. And, it's it was so normal back then. Yeah. But my dad made a point. He was like, it's crazy how trendy it is. Mm-hmm. It's a trend, and it's sad.
Yeah, it's wild.
Thank you guys so much for watching the Viking Voice podcast. I'm Braden. This is Carson. That's Kyle, and we appreciate your time today.